with CJ. He's in sunny Southern California. We're going to go over the Sprout 2.0. And
Wow.
man, the Sprout, first of all, the Sprout, how long has that been around for? The original.
Dude, it's crazy. I'm editing all this footage of the Sprout and kind of doing a historical timeline and and like over 20 years.
Oh man, there isn't too many models of, I mean, like, there are some, well-known shapers that have been around for a long time, but they usually have one model maybe that sits around, but you've been producing that board the whole time. That's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So many different shapers and so many different spots that thing's been made. And yeah, it's great.
So,
Love
so
it.
Ryan is shaping these boards so compared to the original to the 2.0, what's different about the rocker and then the nose concave, the belly, and then we'll go to the tail and the rails.
The original Sprout that like pretty much everybody knows from riding the Thunderbolt version, that was sort of the board. That was like an exact, pretty much replica of the board I rode in the movie, The Sprout. But prior to that movie, I had been riding that board for 10 years. But about 2 years ago, Ryan and I started intentionally making a second version of it that we wanted to be different. And all the things that I had learned about putting edge in the tail, using this certain rocker that Ryan and I figured out, all of those things we wanted to start injecting into that board and see what we could do with it. So and immediately it was like, a game changing design tweaks on that board. Game changing. So
Yeah.
I've been riding it for a long time now. And, you've probably seen footage of me in the last couple of years on like a yellow board. And that's it. So, and yeah, the new Thunderbolt version is crazy. It just works so
So
good.
is there a little bit more rocker than the older one? More kick on the tail?
It's similar to like that low pro rocker. I mean, as I said, all the boards basically have the same rocker. The thing that we keep change is the thing that's changed the most is the templates.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's that same rocker, like a baby step deck in the nose, a baby step deck in the tail with a significant amount of tail flip, edge in the tail, and just a more sort of down foiled sort of performance valued rail. So that's
So,
what the low pro has. That's what the Sprout has.
so the step deck, so for people that's never ridden a step deck before, if you have a full-on step deck, I know this doesn't, but I just want them to be able to know if it's a full-on step deck, what did it do to the board? Let's say on the nose.
Yeah, well, like original step decks originally were to sort of take swing weight out of the nose and sort of when you would go up to the nose, sort of flatten out a little bit and then it would sort of, in theory, create speed and control. I never personally liked step decks too much. I felt like they were unpredictable. But the Sprout, the Low Pro, these boards have like this baby, like micro step deck in there that I've been liking because I do get a little bit of control, a little bit of flex, so on and so forth. But it's not enough to like be unpredictable or be challenging to ride. It's just enough where you can, for a guy like me, it just allows me to sort of pump the board a little bit from the nose and have more control, a little bit more flex.
Okay. So it has enough so when you get on the nose, it slightly straightens out a little bit, but it's just enough that when you become a better surfer, you'll be able to start feeling it then.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And with the Thunderbolts, like a poly, it would sort of flatten out more, but these boards have such an amazing rebound. It really allows you to drive the board from the nose, which
Oh,
is,
interesting.
yeah. So the Thunderbolt version is easier to ride than like I would say a poly version. Yeah.
Because you can feel the flex more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, it's Yusan's just nailed it with these boards. It's
yeah.
crazy.
So you folks that don't know, Yusan is the person behind Thunderbolt, and he's the one that develops all this technologies. So for the
Yeah.
tail, is the more is it more of a 50-50, or it's 50-50 with like a slight edge in the back, or how is that?
Yeah, I mean it's a got edge in the tail, like the whole I think it's like 9 inches
Oh,
end
wow.
around the tail block. So there's a significant amount of edge. Um and it's a very, sort of performance, but a slight boxiness to it.
Like a
So
60-40 kind of a thing, or
yeah, for sure. I mean, the
yeah.
whole board is more of a 60/40 kind of performance
Oh,
value grade.
right on. Cool. That's going to be
Yeah.
exciting. Oh, a little bit more versatile.
Yeah, yeah, it's really versatile.
Oh,
Super versatile.
awesome.
It's not just like the nose rider that it used to be. Now
Yeah.
it's got gears. You can tail surf the thing, so on and so forth.
I was talking to Ryan and he was mentioning something about the Parallax bottom. Did you guys kind of take the little bit of a DNA of the Parallax bottom and kind of implemented it into the 2.0,
Well,
or maybe
that parallax bottom taught us a lot about all of our boards,
uh-huh.
and definitely between the concave and the edge and the tail, all of our boards have that like nice bit of roll that sort of the parallax taught us about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
really nice sort of like user-friendly trim patch, in the center of the board.
So you don't get
Yeah.
that like dead flat feeling, because some of the boards when you're riding it they have like a real flat, like a two-stage rocker or whatever. Sometimes you get in the wave, you're like, oh, thing just lost speed, and you got to kind of move it a little bit. You don't get that feeling then, huh? I'm assuming.
No, 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 you don't. Not on
Oh,
the
good,
Sprout.
good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the Sprout, do you recommend people to use more of a pivot fin, or more of like a regular wide base raked out fin?
Yeah, I for sure recommend the pivot fin. I basically ride my classic pivot 10.5 or my nose rider fin, and they both work pretty they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the classic pivot fin I think is the one that I've had the best luck with, the
Mm-hmm.
most versatile fin for that board.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is the number one question that people ask you about the Sprout 2.0?
Um, a lot of like fans, kind of people that have ridden those boards for a long time, ask me similar questions like, "Oh, what did you change? Like, what's different?" A lot of people, those old nose riders are a little bit challenging to ride. It's hard. You see people order nose riders and they're like, oh, they give up so much. And I really wanted this board to be a nose rider that you didn't lose anything by having that privilege of being on the nose, meaning like you're tail surfing. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, can you tail surf it? Can you tail surf it? Does it turn? Does it turn?" And I'm like, "Just trust me. Just wait. Try it. You'll freak out."
Oh,
So yeah,
oh, that's good. Yeah, some guys like to get that challenge, but the people that can, they can't surf every day. They want something that's user friendly. So I think this will be a really good change up for sure. It sounds
it
like it.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anybody who's has the original Sprout should definitely try this board. It will blow your mind.
All right on.
Yeah. All these boards, I always got to throw in there, like all these boards are target weighted. So like the original board, the Sprout 2.0 that I rode with Ryan for the last couple of years, we make all these boards the same weights, which is like 17.5, 17, 18, depending on the size. And there's little variability, but all the boards are target weighted. All the boards have flex in different places. Like the low pro, its flex components are in a different place than they are on the Sprout, because the Sprout's a nose rider, so on and so forth. So I think I just want people to know that the weights are all target weighted, and all of the flex patterns, depending on what board you're getting, are a little different. and it's just such a complicated, amazing process building these surfboards. I think a lot of people are like, oh, this thing's just like whatever, like an epoxy, but they just don't realize that it's 50 times the amount of work and 1,000 times more design calculation to get these boards right and get them to perform the way they do. And I think I always tell my friends, and a lot of people don't believe me, but I think we have like a 20 to 30% performance advantage riding a Thunderbolt, which is a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like that's a lot. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I
no,
mean?
that is.
So
That's huge. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah. That's interesting you say that because a lot of guys come in and we tell them that, what CJ's riding, he can come in and grab a board off this rack and it's exact same thing. The flex will be the
yeah,
same, the weight will be the same. And that's hard to replicate in surfboard designs if it wasn't for Thunderbolt. Like with fiberglass
truly.
boards, you add a little bit more color to it, and all of a sudden, oh, the thing is like a couple pounds heavier, and you're just like, whoa, why is this board heavier? So when people get custom orders, they're like, well, I want to add this color, and they get it, like, why is this so much heavier? Like, well, it's just the way it is, the nature of when they're glassing the boards and adding more color to it, it just becomes heavier. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
This is such a privilege to be a part of and be able to ride these things. I hope people understand what they're buying because it's truly a beautiful thing.
There's a new construction that's coming out, and I'm not going to say what it is with Yusan, and we had or actually two people ask about it, and they're like, why isn't it available here in the US yet? And I called Yusan on it, and he says, yeah, we usually don't release a big release. We test it out for 2 years. We find out all the problems. We try to work it all out, get everything perfect, and then we'll release it. So that kind of mentality, people don't understand how much R&D goes into just one board or one type of construction that he does. And that's kind of it's not really told to a lot of people, so they don't understand. They just come in, they see something on the rack, but they don't realize you guys been working on it for like 3 to 5 years.
It's crazy, dude. I was going through footage and pictures, and I'm just thinking like, man, I've been grinding out these designs for so long with Thunderbolt and just trying so many different boards and flexes. It's wild, man. I never thought I'd be here, but I'm super lucky to be riding these
Just
things.
like an F1 machine, man.
That's right.
Yeah, right on. Hey, thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Welcome, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.